Hi and welcome back to my channel. Now then, Etsy sellers are getting scammed left, right and centre. I've had loads of you contact me over the last few weeks asking me to do a video to highlight how these scams are being done and what you can do to prevent them happening. So let's go through these scams. How are they doing it? How are these people ripping off Etsy sellers and how do you stop it happening to you? There's four main ways these scammers are doing this. I'm going to highlight all four, and then I'm also going to highlight at the end another vital piece of information to stop you falling into a different kind of scam related to these scams, these four scams that I'm going to teach you about. So let's get into the first one. Okay, so the first scam method. Now these all come in to your Etsy messaging to start with. Here's how the first one works. This is the OG or original scam attempt. You will get contacted by someone saying that to continue selling on Etsy, you need to provide some extra details for you to continue selling, and they'll give you a link to click on. When you click on that link, it takes you to a very good looking but fake version of Etsy site. And when you reach that place, they will ask you for your credit card details or debit card details. And from then, of course, you can get financially scammed by these people. Now, think about it. You've already given Etsy these details already. You don't need to give them again. But so many people fall for it because it looks so real. So that's the first one. This is the basic scam that people run. There's three more. Let's get into number two. Number two, very similar to number one, but I think this is, in a way, it feels even more insidious. They will send you a link asking you to click on the link. The scammers will send you the link. You click on it, and this time they don't take your credit card details or debit card details. They take your Etsy logon details, which is really, really nasty because once they've got access to your shop, they can do all sorts of horrible things to your store. So, number one, don't leave the Etsy website and start entering debit or credit card details. Number two, definitely don't leave the Etsy website and give the other website your logon details. Let's get into number three. This is really interesting. Number three. Number three is when scammers will contact you again via Etsy messaging. It's always via Etsy messaging, telling you, and now this is crazy if you think about it, telling you your store has been suspended and that to get your store back online and to be able to sell again, you need to click on the link below to go to Etsy to verify your credentials or details. Now, anyone that stops for a second and thinks will be able to look on the screen at their store and see that they're not suspended. Be clear here, I'll be clear. When you get suspended by Etsy, there'll be a red banner, a red bar at the top telling you that you've been suspended. But because so many sellers will never have had a message like this, they panic. When you've been, when you get an official looking email saying you've been suspended, people go into a panic, click the link, put the details into the site, which looks really realistic, and all of a sudden they've stolen your details via this method. That's method number three. Method number four is even more crafty because people are starting to cotton on to these methods that these scammers are using. So let's get into number four and see what that is. So these scammers, they're always trying to stay ahead of the game. They're always trying to take your money or your logon details by any means possible. The fourth method, this is the most recent method that these scammers are using, is a QR code. So it's the same deal. They will send you a message saying that you need to verify your details, either your banking details or your logon details. But rather than a link, they'll send you a QR code, which then takes you to the same premise as the other three. It's a fake website. You put your details in, and all of a sudden, your details are stolen or your logon details have been stolen. Now, loads of people are falling for these. Loads of people. This is why they're doing it. People are cottoning on now and understanding because it's getting put out there that this is how these scammers are doing it. The QR codes are a fairly new one. Loads of people are falling for that. Now, something I want you to realize before I tell you the last piece of information that you need to know on this scammer situation, and that is if Etsy contact you, it comes in a From Etsy tab in your shop manager. So this is a very easy way to tell if you're being scammed or not. If it's not in the From Etsy tab, it's a scam. If anything is from Etsy, if they ever ask you to do anything, it's inside Etsy. The scammers always take you outside Etsy. So basically, if you see anything that purports to be from Etsy, telling you to leave the platform and go on, click on this link, even if it looks real, it's a scam. Just mark it as spam and delete. Okay? If you leave the platform, it's a scam. And when Etsy message you, it's usually to update you with something about the platform or possibly something about your store. And it's in the From Etsy section. Now, let me get to one final piece of information that a lot of sellers fall for. It's related to what we've been talking about. So, and this is partly Etsy's fault, right? Because when people need help, they want a contact telephone number. You want to phone someone and talk to them, right? Pick up the phone and speak to someone. I think that's perfectly reasonable for a platform the size of Etsy. So what people do is they go straight to Google and type in Etsy support phone number to get Etsy's number. Now, the problem with doing this is scammers run ads with keywords related to this. So Etsy support number, Etsy phone number. So when you click on those links from Google, it again takes you to a fake Etsy page. They're very realistic looking. And then when you enter the details on that page, it goes straight through to the scammers in the same way that those other 4 methods I talked about earlier do. So again, you think you're talking to Etsy, you're not. You hand over your details, and then it's too late because they've got that information. So really, really dodgy this is, and you've got to have your wits about you. But common sense, don't go searching Google for support numbers for anyone, least of all Etsy. And Etsy are partly to blame for this because they've never, ever been good at customer support. I don't think it's okay not to have a support number. They need 24-hour support, 24-hour chat, 24-hour phone calls, all available from within Etsy. That's perfectly a reasonable request, and it should have been done a long time ago. And because it hasn't been done, and support has always been so difficult, this is why the scammers have been able to do all this damage that they've done. So get into my comments. Let me know if you've been scammed. What's happened to you? Have you had these people message you? I deal with loads of clients every week that have this problem. Let me know your story. What happened to you? Did you get scammed? Did you get your money back? How did it go? Let me know in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers. And for those of you still watching, if you want an Etsy store review, drop your store name into the comments. I might pick your store. Cheers. See ya.